Whoa! Cheers, guys. Got coffee from this place. There we go. All right. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Yeah. Good evening. Hey, it's the Geek Viking. How you doing? Cool. I made you famous tonight, the Geek Viking, on the video. You were a major part of the video. I'm making you famous. So, yeah, welcome to the stream, everybody. I just got some good coffee here. So I'm wired up enough to do a live stream. So cool. Thanks for joining in. If you like live streams, please give me a thumbs up. And coffee time. Yeah, whatever's good for you, you know. Anybody watching, if you're new, thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate the thumbs up, so let everybody know. Yeah, so you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you don't know who I am, if you don't know who I am, I've been a developer for, I'm going to be 30 years in January. So yeah, if you have questions about development, getting jobs, freelancing, whatever have you, please please feel free to ask. Please feel free. So I'm now in a remote location down in Florida to escape the freezing cold. This means you enjoy your drink in my language, Macedonian. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah. Maybe a little too much coffee. Hello. How are you? Welcome to the stream, everybody. So I just put out a video on YouTube on the web design development trend for 24, and that's integrated platforms. So you can go watch that video. Hello. Just curious, did you relocate to the US for the winter? I'm here for 4 months to test it out, to see how I like living down here. And we'll see what happens. So yeah, greetings from Poland. Good. Gave you 3 thumbs up. That is acceptable. 3 thumbs up are acceptable. A small group so far tonight. I have to say, I used to do lives on a regular basis. When I used to do lives on a regular basis, we get 200, 300, 250, 300 people watching live concurrently. This is what happens when you're not consistent. But I don't blame you. I have not been consistent for last year due to unforeseen events. So, yeah, so what's going on? Well, I'll give you an overview. You should go watch the video afterwards. I just put it on YouTube. It's also on X. Essentially, I saw in a poll, I did a poll recently, about 800-900 people, maybe 1,000 people answered. I haven't checked recently. But the majority of people seem to be very much interested in monetizing code, learning how not only how to code, but how to take that code and turn it into a job, into a freelance career, maybe start a software business. So you're going to see more and more content in that regard. Everything I teach, by the way, is out of personal experience. I don't jump into subjects that I don't know about. Kevin tells me, all right, thanks, I appreciate that, Kevin. Cool. Ananta says, when did Grandpa Steph got demoted to Uncle Steph? I'm not Grandpa Steph yet. We hope. Of course, I'm old enough to be Grandpa Steph. If I was like a country guy, then for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, let me answer a few questions that are coming up all the time. Is AI taking away coder jobs? No. Trust me, AI is at best inconsistent, and it's something you should learn to leverage AI, but it's not taking away any jobs anytime soon. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Actually, I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. But you should be aware of the AI landscape, see what's going on out there. So that's a typical question I get. The other question is, what language should I learn? You know, I always tell people, learn your foundations first. And then from that base of knowledge, you'll be able to make a wise decision about where you want to go. Because, you know, whether you learn JavaScript or Python or PHP or C# or Java or TypeScript or Go or Rust or Ruby, except for Ruby. Whatever you learn, they're all going to have value to you. Because what you're going to learn if you're new to programming, once you learn one programming language, you pretty much know a lot about all programming languages. So it's not like you can choose a bad programming language, except for Ruby. You can't choose a bad programming language. It's like driving. It's once you learn how to drive standard, you know how to drive. That's it. You don't need to start over if you're going to learn to drive a new car. It's pretty much the same. So don't have kittens. Don't worry so much about what language you're learning first. Just pick a language and learn it. Once you have your head wrapped around the basis of software development and coding in general, then you'll be able to make more intelligent decisions based on what you like, based on the job market in your area, so on and so forth. You can go watch a plethora of videos where I cover these subjects. Demitar Nikolov says, found your second channel, watched a few of your videos on that channel. What is the content focus for that channel? Very good question. So I have another channel. It's called Uncle Steph, and it's my dabbling channel, but I've decided to do what I really I'm into and enjoy, and that is investment, business investment, money management, personal finance, and so forth. I'll make it interesting for you because it's part of, once I understood how money worked, then I was able to find financial freedom and independence pretty quickly. So that's why I was able to retire so young. So I realized how financially illiterate a lot of people are. We're not trained by the school systems properly, or our parents, about money and finance and investments. So that's going to be about that. I'm going to break that down for you. Be some psychology in there because when it comes to investing, psychology plays a big role. And some other things as well. Throw in some diet and nutrition thing. But the main focus is going to be finance, business, investments. So once you start making all your coder money, what are you going to do with it? How do you manage it? What do you do? That's what it's going to be about. Let me know what you think. Would you guys be interested in my second channel, which is going to be finance, investments oriented? You know, should you invest in the stock market, gold, silver? Do you do crypto? Why wouldn't you? How would you invest? What's the strategy? How to best do it? You know, how to get your psychology aligned so that you are investing properly. That is the whole point of the channel. Back in the I started dabbling with investments in the 1990s, late 1990s during the dot-com era bubble. And then I jumped back into it in around 2006, 2007, and I did some crazy stuff. I would trade pretty big money. I'd go in there, and I wouldn't advise doing this, but I would go in there with, you know, 6 figures, and go poof, and make a bet, make it a trade in and out of the markets with leveraged ETFs and so forth. So it was commodities, all kinds of stuff. So a lot of experience. I did that full time really for like 4 years. Made money, had fun, but I made mistakes too. So anyway, that's what that channel is about. Let me know in the comments if that's interesting to you at all, or you just want to hear Uncle Steph talk about code and coding business. Jaded Western says, any recommended resource on how to work with customers? I get anxious trying to anticipate customer expectations in consulting arrangements. Very good question. So I'm not going to give a whole lesson here, but when you're dealing with clients or co-workers or your boss, people in general, you have to set expectations about the relationship and how the development process is going to go right at the very onset of the project. You'll run into problems if there's some ambiguity, something is not clear about this relationship, because you're going to go into a freelance contract or into a job or into a business arrangement with an expectation in your mind. And you will assume, a lot of times you will wrongly assume, or and your counterpart will wrongly assume that you have the same idea in your head, but you don't, right? So you have to be very, very explicit and open about how you see the contract and the relationship unfolding. If you do that at the onset, that is the time to do it, where there's no investment, and if it doesn't work out, there's no loss. So that's the first thing you got to do. What I would suggest is, so again, the key thing is to set expectations with your prospects early on in the process. Very important. If you want to learn how the brain works and how our brains make decisions, you should check out, links below, my Lizard Wizard course. It's going to transform your understanding of reality. It's inexpensive, and it's going to help you with all that in a huge way. A lot of people have said that my Lizard Wizard course is by far the best and most influential training I've ever put out. If you don't know, I have a background in psychology. I did martial arts for 25 years. I used to do a lot of meditation. So Lizard Wizards, all those skill sets, and my business negotiating experience is all kind of put into that. I hope that answers your question. Should I learn MVC or MVVM for C#? I don't know about in the C# context. What you should do is look at the C# community and see what most of the work is. Is it MVVM or is it MVC? I'm MVC old school nerd, OG MVC guy. So my bias is MVC, but if your heart is set on C#, that's where the job is for you, that's where you're going, then check to see what the C# community thinks and follow them. Alex, cheers, code long and profit. This is the official hand salute of the channel. I borrowed this from Star Trek. The Vulcans used to say live long and profit. I say code long and profit. Anyway, hey Steph, any tips for getting to iOS dev? Did one Udemy course, but don't know where to go from there. Yeah, I would just start building little iOS apps for yourself, for number one. Number two, look around at the job market and the freelance market for iOS and approach people on a stagiaire basis, meaning for free, and get your chops while doing something for real. And don't worry if you don't know what you're doing 100%. When you have a job pending that forces you to do work you wouldn't do otherwise. So that's what I would suggest. Hey, Walid Agrib, I'm sure I didn't say that right. I apologize. I'll call you Walid. Walid. Is Vue.js still in demand in 23-24? I think the demand is either flat to up. I would just look at the job market. Danielle Belfield says, hey, Steph. Hey. I purchased Lizard Wizard course. I'm looking forward to do lessons with Uncle Steph. Hey, I appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Let me know what you think of it. I'm actually started working on Lizard Wizard Part 2, the second series, which will expand upon what the first course has. I don't know when that's coming out. Maybe in the next few months, we'll see. After so many jokes about Ruby, I'm afraid to touch it. Anyway, I think there are better alternatives like PHP and Python. Yeah, Ruby is got it's a good language in many respects. In other respects, it isn't. The problem is, I think it's becoming more and more marginalized, meaning the demand for Ruby will continue to shrink over time. That said, when you're looking at technologies and languages in terms of their monetization capacity, in terms of how easily you can make money with them, it's not just about the number of jobs. It's also about the number of jobs relative to the number of people looking at those jobs. Oh boy, my battery's about to go. Give me a second. I gotta switch up. Ay. I'm going to drop out for about 10 seconds here. Hold on. 3 seconds. Good stuff. Professional switcheroo. All right. I hope you guys can see me again. Yeah, I had to switch out the battery on this thing. Little battery. All right. I don't have my professional gear with me while I'm on the road. I should have brought it, my professional camera. So anyway, on average, how many months do your students take to finish the bootcamp curriculum? Depends on the individual, because the curriculum is open-ended. So you're not bound by time. So whether it takes you a month to finish JavaScript or 2 months or 3 months, it doesn't really affect us. You'll see in the program, we have people with 0 experience and people with 15 years experience, and we all work off each other. It's kind of cool. That all said, the core curriculum, you're looking at about 250 hours to complete. That's the core. Then you start building things. You know, there's projects to build and so on. So I hope that helps. I read free code camp. Well, when you're ready to upgrade, check out Uncle Steph. They said HTML, CSS, JavaScript is what you need for freelance developer. That is true. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP will help a lot as well for freelance. You'll see a lot of freelance jobs. There'll be WordPress too in there. Some Drupal as well. It's just the nature of the game. Troy, how's Troy doing? When quantum computing comes into play, everything will change. On 60 Minutes, they said unimaginable. Not sure how soon that will be, but it sounds like it's pretty close. Yeah, quantum is huge. Who knows when it's going to come into play? I had an uncle who was doing a lot of research in quantum computing, and he was saying, yeah, it's close. And that was like 15 years ago, so who knows? But yeah, quantum computing is huge. If you don't know, quantum computing is a new way of processing, so it's incredibly powerful, incredibly fast. Like it's not even close. It's like turtle speed versus cheetah speed. That's actually a slow comparison. But anyway, you get the idea. I wouldn't be worried about quantum computing right now. Since you are seeing more people trying to make money off of coding by freelancing, do you think services like Shopify and such will get bigger? Or do you have a course on being a freelancer on a CSM? I have a freelancing course, which is universal. Whether you got to look at whether it be Shopify, WordPress, raw code, WixStudio now, as I talk about recently, they're all tools. They're all tools. How you leverage those tools, if you do it properly with proper freelance skill and technique, you'll do well. So my freelancer course is not specific to CSM, but it will teach you everything you know to be a freelancer, all the good stuff. You'll like it. And what's good about my courses, if you don't like them, you just get your money back. Yeah. I'm also very interested in the second channel. My biggest interests in life are becoming a developer, creating a business from it, investing, and also fitness. I'm a big gym bro. Okay, cool. Listen, being a gym bro is important. Listen, let me tell you. If you don't have health, doesn't matter how rich you are. If you want maximum mental capacity, you got to be in shape. It's an old concept, it's an old Eastern concept. The mind and body are one, So if your body is out of shape, it's going to be stressing your mind, your brain. So get in shape, get the body fat percentage under 20%, eat healthy foods, sleep well, drink lots of water. It's going to make you a far more effective developer, that's for sure, because your mind will be sharper and you have a lot more energy. So that's why I talk about health and so forth in the other channel. Very important, very important. Don't neglect that. So I will definitely be watching the second channel because they even talk about healthy habits, eating training, which I also like. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, just let you know, if you're new to the channel, this is my main channel, which is mainly about coding. I have another channel, which I launched a while back, but I just never fed it, but I'm getting serious with it now. It's about finance, business, a little bit about health, a little bit about nutrition, but it's more or less about investing in finance, how to take all that coder money and what to do with it, how to invest it properly so that you're become very quickly financially independent. F says, let's say you've been freelancing for 5+ years. How many clients do you typically work with at the same time? Do you take projects on at a time or multiple? So it's always good to have a few clients going at least. It's good to have a nice stable of like 10 clients. Now you won't be working on all 10 at the same time. You might be working on 2 or 3 at the same time. Even 20 clients are good. Why? Because there's going to be lag time. Client A will come and see you, and you won't see client B and C for many, many months. So you need client A and E and F. And so you want to have several clients going, and you just schedule them accordingly, you know. This also gives you a lot more negotiating power. When you have a lot of clients, you're not dependent on anybody in general, so they can't push you around. So I would have as many clients as possible. Just manage your time. If you find you're getting overloaded work, start partnering with other developers who can help you and work that way. Oh, by the way, I do have a Discord. If you look below, there's a Discord channel. There's a link. It's free. Join the Discord. There's a lot of people, over 2,000 people, maybe 3,000 people have joined that Discord. I got it. Where's my Discord link on this computer? I'm on my remote computer here, so I don't have the link. So yeah, so check that out. Discord channel, links below. Links below. Geek Viking says, thank you, Steph, for including me in the last bit. Soon I'll be 169-year-old Geek Viking. Amazing mentorship program, everyone. Join the mentorship program and avoid any 15K bootcamp. I appreciate that. Geek Viking is one of the members of the bootcamp, so he knows the deal. What would you recommend if most of a local job market is focused on .NET Core, but you have been working mostly with Node for the past few years? Well, if you got work in Node and you enjoy working with Node and the pay is good, then stick with Node. But if you see there might be some advantage financially otherwise to learn .NET Core, then jump over to that, you know. But don't worry, for you to go from Node to .NET Core, it won't be a huge task. Start working on it a little bit on the side, maybe, you know, do a half an hour every other day on .NET Core. There's always a little inertia. It's a little slow starting anything new, but then it will just ramp up quick. Hey, Steph, I feel depressed because I just turned 50. Laugh out loud. Well, JB, welcome to the party. Cheers to that. If I had an IPA, I'd drink it, but what are you going to do? Well, what you're going to do is get in shape, have your midlife crisis, lose a bunch of weight, start dating 28-year-olds, and you'll be golden. That's the trick. Hey, Steph, I don't know if it's just me, but I find a lot of developers today who don't understand the basics of programming, even being in a project management. Oh yeah, that's very not uncommon. Unfortunately, this brings inefficient teams and a lot of turnover, and those who don't understand the basics blame the newer seniors who join the teams to solve the problems already there. Yeah, very, very common. I always emphasize over and over again, learn your fundamentals, learn your fundamentals, learn your fundamentals. It's always about the fundamentals, not the language you use, not the framework. If you are a good developer, a good coder, which means you know your fundamentals well, no matter what language is put in front of you, no matter what framework is put in front of you, you will write good code. Just like a good race car driver, you put them in any car, they're going to outdrive a non-race car driver no matter what, you know? So it doesn't, learn your fundamentals. As a programmer, do you remember syntax and all the functions? No, I don't. I forget them all the time, in fact. That's why you got code editors and integrated development environments. You know, once you pick up a project, let's say you're new to Python. You pick up a project and at first you're going to be like, how do you do that in Python? But after a little bit of time, you're going to know because you're working with Python all the time. And you'll remember just by coding. Don't try to do the memorization game, just code. If you forget something, just look it up on Google or your IDE will tell you and you'll be fine. So don't worry about that. I today will guarantee you, I've written commercial software in 8 or 9, I think it's 9 languages now. I've written commercial software, being paid for. I don't count the stuff that I dabbled in or did home projects with. I mean, got paid or made money with the software. And I forget most of it. I really do. Java, I worked on with Java for years, and I don't remember much about the Java APIs. Java.util and Java, Swing. I know some of the stuff, but it doesn't matter because I know how to write code. And if I went back to Java as an example, I would pick it up within a few hours. It would come back to me. So don't worry about memorization. It's much more about concepts and process that matter. I think this confusion leads many to believe that AI will solve the problems. It will not. I think it all lies in a work culture problem. I've been a programmer for over 12 years. Oh, there you go. I agree. AI is a power tool. You can screw in the screw like this, or you can go, and that's what AI is. But if you don't know what you're doing and you screw this way, you're screwed. So yeah, AI is only, it's a tool to help, to assist. Hound of Justice. I started learning Python, and we'll have C++ as well for game dev. And I got overwhelmed by explanations of framework variables and almost instantly. Do you struggle with those as a beginner? That's very common to struggle with those. Hound of Justice, the most difficult part of learning how to write code is the beginning. So don't worry. The key to comprehension is through implementation. So just write code. Even if you don't understand it, just write it, keep writing it, get it to work. And then when you got something to work, mess around with the code to break it, see how it breaks, fix it again, break it, and it will start coming to you. That's it. There you go. If you want to learn Python, just do my Python course. It's interactive. There's no quicker way to learn Python. No easier way. It's a unique program. Sai says, how can I get to 3K in monthly retainers through freelance Shopify development? Number one thing is you got to develop very good workflows, very efficient workflows. That's the number one thing you have to do as a freelancer. Extremely efficient workflows. Check out my freelance course if you want. I have templates in there that help, spreadsheet templates and contract templates and workflow templates. That will help you out. But yeah, you just got to keep refining how you execute projects. It's code refinement, it's project management refinement, it's client management refinements as well. Hope that helps. Mohammed Hamidi says, greetings, Steph. Greetings. I'm in the middle of a crucial decision between taking C#.NET versus Java Spring Boot. Which one would you choose in terms of market demand? Well, just go do a job search on the local job sites, Indeed.com or whatever happens to be popular in your area. That's number one. So you'll probably see that the distribution of jobs between the two are pretty equivalent. So the next thing to do is to look at the type of businesses that are using .NET versus the type of businesses use Java Spring Boot. And that might help make your decisions. If both those variables don't help you make the decisions, then just spend a few hours learning. Just messing around with .NET and C#. Well, it might take you a few days actually. Maybe take you a week or two. Just to get the basics, and then try out Java Spring. See what you prefer. All right, small group tonight. Oh yeah, it's true. Christmas is coming up too. I would also like to get a stronger foundation on my programming fundamentals. I was thinking about getting a Lizard Wizard course. Yeah. Lizard Wizard is, again, I believe, and people have taken it and said it's the most important course I've ever put out. It's going to transform so many things in your life potentially. It's going to change your way of thinking about everything. It's going to allow you to learn much more quickly, It's going to reduce your anxieties. I've had people lose 40 pounds because of Lizard Wizard. And it's not so much it teaches you how to lose weight, but it teaches you how to manage your reflexive, impulsive self. And that's what eating is all about, right? I'm trying to build a product that is an async communication tool for remote teams. Think Loom, but where you send each other video clips. Should I build a PWA or native macOS these days? Oh. Listen, if you can do a PWA, I would, because then it's cross-platform. So what I would do is, when you have a project like that, when you're trying to determine the technology, what I would do is I would identify the core technologies that could be challenging in terms of PWA implementation or web implementation. Maybe it's the streaming videos, the clipping, maybe it's the capturing the video, whatever it happens to be. I would identify what is the challenge in terms of the web platform. And then I would see if I could do it in the web platform. And, so that's the first thing. I would look for the biggest technical challenge and see whether or not the PWA deployment or implementation rather would allow you to do that. The reason you go to native for anything is because you can't do it web because of some limitation of web. Although web is becoming less and less limited over time, as you know. Your health is your wealth, 100%, 100%. You could be a billionaire, but if you're sick, life sucks. I'd rather be healthy and poor than rich and sick. Now, being rich and healthy is fantastic, but if I had to choose between rich or healthy, I'd go healthy without even second thought. So yeah, for sure. And how do you stay healthy? Regular exercise, eat good food, extract sugars and crappy food out of your diet, and meditation helps too. Did I say sleep? When starting out as a freelancer, what would be more effective at getting in front of potential clients? That's always the first clients are the hardest. Once you get the first clients, then word of mouth usually takes over. But the first thing you got to do is have a really nice looking website up. And then that website should geo-target, as in geography, geo-target whatever market you're going after. That's the key to that. HTML and CSS were a breeze for me, but I am currently struggling to learning JS. It's like my brain does not want to understand it. Don't worry, Marcus, that is normal. That tells me you're more of a visual guy, probably. So just keep writing that JavaScript code, keep working on it. One day you wake up and you go, oh, this is actually pretty easy. So just keep working at it, keep working at it. I see a lot of web development, I see a lot of web development jobs asking for React.js. Any reason why it's not included in the bootcamp? Because once you've done my bootcamp, you will be able to learn React from any YouTube tutorial pretty darn quick. That's why. I teach the foundations of coding and a bunch of other things that nobody else teaches. And so I put you in a position where you can learn React pretty easily. So you don't need me to teach you React. That's the whole point. It's like it's that Christian parable, feed a man, give man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for life. I'm teaching you how to fish, man. When starting out as a freelancer, what eyesore effective at getting you in front of potential clients, door-to-door with business cards or using website competitive SEO? I would do competitive SEO website, and then I would start just talking to people. People hey, by the way, I'm doing web design, I'm doing freelance, I'm starting out, I'm going to do stuff for really inexpensive. You should do 2 to 3 jobs. The first 2 to 3 jobs you do for free, do them for free, so you gain some experience. Steph, when will be your next live? I'm not sure. I'm trying to come up with a nightly schedule. I used to do these nightly. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow night. But I'm going to get it regular soon so that we can participate in all of this. Okay, I need to go to bed because it's 2 a.m. here in North Macedonia, Eastern Europe. Oh, well, thanks for joining. I'll rewatch the full stream tomorrow. Have a nice evening, Uncle Steph. Also, people like the video. Come on. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. All right, man. Sleep well. Good night. And we'll see you soon. Wayne, does the mentorship focus on how to gain clients? I find this may be the harder part and was looking for insight on your mentorship. Yeah, I have, I teach that. So we have that in the course material, but in the mentorship, I also have bi-weekly coaching sessions. So for example, once you go through the fundamentals, you put up your promotional website, if you will. You send it to me, I take a look, I make sure it looks really good, I look at the code, I look at the layout, look at the copy, make sure it's all suited to that. And then you can come in to the live coaching sessions and ask any questions about the process. The Geek Viking, he's part of the group. He'll tell you about that. So the main value of my mentoring program is the mentoring. And it's open-ended. It's not like other boot camps where you got to finish JavaScript by the end of January and that's it. No, it's like, it's based on a modern educational practice. I've been working with schools for over a decade. So as long as you need the program, you have access. And even well after you've secured work and you have a job, you can jump in on the coaching sessions. You're welcome to join in. So yeah, we can definitely help you with that. Cheers, man. Cheers, babe. Switching career to blockchain developer as a senior Web 2.0 developer. Switching career as a blockchain developer. Are you asking Triboulet? I probably did not say that right. My apologies. If there's jobs, generally speaking, when it comes to jobs, I say if you are building things, no matter what you're building, whether it be blockchain or working with AI or websites or web apps or iOS or Android, anything but Ruby. If you do anything but Ruby, you're building, it's fine. It's fine. Well, even Ruby. As long as you're building something, that's the thing. Robert Smith says, I thought Steph was a Canadian, not a Florida man. I am a Canadian. I'm just visiting Florida right now. I'm here for the winter. Snowbirding like so many Canadians do. What to do if I want to become an entry-level cloud dev as a new grad? Look for a stagiaire job, and at the same time, look up what cloud devs are required to know and start learning those skills. JB's old school. I used to do assembly language some 25 plus years ago and recently looked back on it and it looked like an alien language to me, laugh aloud. Yeah, here's a funny story. One of my buddies who was a very high level developer, worked on core code for Microsoft, Apple, and many other big companies. Yeah, he worked for Apple, he worked for Microsoft, many others. He was saying he knew assembly. And I remember back in the day, he was a roommate of mine at the time. He knew assembly and he kept getting hired to do assembly jobs and he hated writing assembly code. So he took it off his resume because he didn't want to be hired to do assembly. Do you agree with the practice of using technical interviews to screen candidates about asking about algorithms, or do you think the project building assignment is better? Yeah, I don't believe in technical assessments. I believe it's more about, what I do when I hire people, I just ask good questions. I ask them questions and I can tell within minutes whether or not they know what they're talking about. And that's all I care about. That was first thing. Second thing is I look at their personality. Are they easy to get along with? Are they open-minded? Are they willing to learn new things? So yeah, I disagree. This whole algorithm thing is silly. Unless I'm interviewing somebody to work on my search engine. Or, I am a Google or a Facebook where I need somebody who's really efficient with their code. But the algorithms, that's where AI comes in, right? Libraries, So yeah, I think the whole algorithm test thing was stupid. I said it, I think it's dumb. I think a lot of companies adopted that because they heard that Google was doing it and Facebook was doing it, but It's stupid because I understand why Google would do it because, you know, if you're hiring developers to write a search engine where you have to optimize querying huge amounts of data and managing huge amounts of data as they do, as Facebook and Google has to do, yeah, then it makes sense for those jobs. But if you're building web apps or iOS apps and so on, it's the stupidest thing. If I had an HR team and they were trying to have people do algorithm tests, I'd fire the HR team. It's not how you hire developers, unless you're doing that kind of work, which is highly specialized and very few people do. All you need to know about data structures is the basics that any beginner's course will teach you: string, int, collection types, how to navigate them, how to more efficiently navigate through one type of thing or another. But you just look it up. You know, you got this type of collection type, type in Google, how to best do that in Python. Boom, there's your answer. You know, you go to ChatGPT, boom. You know, so to test for that, it's dumb. That's my opinion. Steph, thanks for the streaming. What do you think of the future of AR, VR? Do you think it's worth investing time into? That might be something interesting. It's still early days, but Facebook is behind it big time with Meta. And Apple is now jumping in with their thing. It's still early days, but oftentimes that's where the big money is made. Like the developers, the iOS developers who got on the bandwagon really early on developing apps, those are the guys who really made the big money because they got in early. So AR is early. It may not go anywhere, but you may find yourself in a very highly profitable niche market because I do know there's going to be application for that in design and so on, and probably gaming as well once that gets more mature. So yeah, I think it's a good medium-term, long-term investment. If you enjoy it, take a look. Again, when you're looking at any technology, also look at the environment, the job environment. There may be few AR jobs and VR jobs now, but they may be lucrative because there's very few people doing AR, VR, and they may hire you because, oh, here's an AR guy. Oh my God, let's grab him or her. Good to know. We have plenty of time to be developers, SSR, SPA, or WebAssembly. Which do you prefer? Personally, I don't have a preference. You choose what you like, right? I like my coffee black and Colombian. Doesn't mean you have to take it black and Colombian too. What would you say, Steph, are great programming foundations? Well, first of all, you have to understand how to write clean code. Understand procedural coding versus object-oriented coding. Understand the basic concepts and principles of development. So you understand what a class are and when classes are written versus interfaces, how to use and not use inheritance. Learn the basics of control flow. Learn the basics of refactoring, basic design patterns, just good best practices, naming conventions, consistency in the code. You know, how to use comments effectively in coding, how not to use them, that kind of stuff. This is universal to all the languages. If you got that down, you're good. It's like I tell people, I'd rather hire, let's say I had a job that was all JavaScript, and I had a choice between somebody with 1 year JavaScript experience or somebody else with Python who doesn't know JavaScript but has done Python for 5 years, and I've looked at their work and it's mature, I would choose the Python developer because of their experience. Because you can learn the other programming language very easily if you got a good background. You know your foundations really well. I hope that makes sense. If you're interested in the foundations of programming, I teach that in my full stack courses. Hi, Uncle. You said don't use Node.js due to dependency issues. However, PHP also has composer packages. Elixir has hex packages. Are they different? Well, I haven't looked at Node. In fairness to Node, I haven't looked at it in a while. When I did look at it, I found that the way that they managed packages and so forth was brittle. Not good. And I'm not the only guy. The founder of Node, I forget his name, he thought Node was so bad that he created something else called Deno, another runtime, which deals with that issue. I found that PHP relative to Node was less brittle in that respect. Don't get me wrong, you can do good stuff with Node, but that's its Achilles heel, you know? I hope that makes sense. After learning fundamentals, I'm thinking of making a LMS, Learning Management website from scratch as one of my portfolio projects out of 5. Is it a good idea or an overkill? I may use this site to sell courses. Well, if you have, Nick, an idea for how you would use that work to take something to market, then why not? You know, that's the best stuff, by the way. When you're writing code, to do something practical with it, then you're going to be much more motivated to write good code and to experiment with things. One of my projects I still have the most fun with, I built a dating app back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I did it to explore Java. Not so much to build a dating app, but I said, I like to date. I like going out on dates, so I'll build a dating app. And I wish I kept it. I built it and it started getting members and paid members. It was starting to grow. I had 17,000 members on the system, and it was growing. And then at that time, I was like one of these pure nerds who I was just doing it for the coding. And then my dating site got invaded by all these swingers. It was like tons of swingers. I had thousands of swingers on the site. A lot of them from Florida, in fact. And I discovered that by accident. And I don't know, it just freaked me out. I didn't want to be like the swinging coder where I have to buy silk robes and smoke cigars. And, you know, I should have, in retrospect, I should have kept that site going. You seem so anti-Ruby. I'm quite new here. Is there a reason? No, Samuel, it's just a joke. I just joke around that way. It's an old joke going back to the early 2000s, well, mid-2000s. My Ruby joke is I'm just making fun of people who say one language, don't learn this language, don't learn that language. What I preach, what I teach is that the language is secondary in importance these days. It's really all the other things I talk about that matter, even for Ruby. But I don't know, I just chose Ruby because Ruby gets trashed now for reasons I don't understand. I think because it doesn't scale very well. Yeah, it's kind of, it's not very efficient, nor is Python. But yeah, I don't, you know, Ruby's fine. I've had Ruby apps, command line apps that we've created for internal use. I would not use Ruby for concurrent application development, although it can handle most projects pretty well. But it's good. Thank you, younger staff. Pronunciation was almost good. French. Briec, je suis français, je parle français. Je viens de Québec. Mon français n'est pas parfait. C'est pas souvent que je parle. Ça veut dire qu'il y a des mots et je ne comprends pas. It's difficult for me to pronounce that. Tribuet. Buet? Buelle? I don't know. Excusez-moi. Mais c'est la raison, je parle français. Mind Game says, Uncle Steph, I don't like the cloud giant, but that's what the big projects are kind of all asking for these days. Well, yeah, a reality of business, this is a business rule. The big companies typically only want to deal with big companies. So if you have this big organization, they're going to go to the cloud, they're going to go to one of the big cloud providers. There's no question. They're going to go to Amazon, they're going to go Azure, or they're going to go, what's the other one? Yeah, Google's, of course. Yeah, because they don't want the responsibility. The way big organizations work, see, big companies attract people who want to work at big companies, and people want to work at big companies because they want a framework around them because they need that, they feel more comfortable with that framework around them. They feel a level of protection. So one of the last things they want is the responsibility of deploying an app or using a service from some unknown company. If something goes wrong, the first thing is going to happen, they're going to get blamed. Why did you use this unknown company? So they say, you know what, if I go with one of the big ones, I go with Azure, I go with Google, I go with Amazon, AWS. If something goes wrong, I just go, hey, I went with AWS, man. I went with Microsoft. What do you want me to do? So it's hard. They can't be blamed. That's why. Keep that in mind. Hey, Gelatine, you're in Florida. What part of Florida are you in? I'm in Delray Beach. There's somebody else in Florida. I'm thinking of maybe setting up next month, somewhere in January, a Florida meetup if we get enough people. Meet for coffee or something. AWS, Azure, IBM, of course, IBM, Google. How can I avoid them and still move into bigger roles, front end? Oof. That I can say. That's a navigation, that is navigating the job market. Bigger roles, you might want to get into a smaller company that's growing, more opportunity there. That might be also more control there. The disadvantage of working for a big company is you got that infrastructure and you're sort of stuck within the infrastructure. The advantage is that you got that infrastructure and it's pretty stable typically. So it depends what you're looking for. And hey uncle, how do I know I'm ready to apply for a job? Freelancing gig. Well, in the web space, you built your website, you're comfortable enough writing code. You've done some CRUD operations. I would do a little bit of back end always, especially in a freelance game. And then, then start going out there looking for jobs. I always tell people the first 2 to 3 jobs should be free. That's where you learn your chops without much pressure on you. You could have made Tinder before Tinder. Perhaps. I actually had my site up before Plenty of Fish. See, it was interesting. The Plenty of Fish guy, it was funny. I built my dating site to learn Java or to explore Java. I was already doing Java Web. And the guy who started Plenty of Fish, I found out, built Plenty of Fish to explore .NET. The difference between him and me is he was smart enough to keep going with it. Whereas me, I got freaked out by the swingers and I booked it out of there, which was a bad move. Thanks a lot. No worries, Nick. Will no-code application absorb traditional coding markets for freelancing? It won't absorb them, but no-code, low-code will become more important. I recommend it. For some projects, no-code, low-code will be more than enough, and other projects won't be. It's non-trivial, though. Trust me. You will still be hired to leverage no-code and low-code platforms. Trust me, you'll just be more productive. My first ever job designing a dating site is 98. Photoshop slices, wow, that's old school. And transparent pixels, oh yeah. On my contracts is Corpse doing all sorts of dating. One of my contracts is Corpse doing all sorts of dating. Yeah, so back in 1998, the 1 pixel GIF trick, transparent GIF, that's from the book killersites.com. Killer Sites, creating killer websites. I own killersites.com, the official website for that book. I took it over in the year 1999, I think it was. Yeah, I bought that site off of David Siegel in 1999. You may have seen that book, Creating Killer Websites. I actually have a copy here from there because I own the site. It's kind of an archive right now. It's just sitting there. Hi, Uncle. I've been watching your videos a lot lately. By the way, I'm trying to find work on platforms like Upwork, but WordPress jobs are so competitive. Should I stick with it or jump on Shopify Dev? Dabble around, man. Dabble around. See what works for you. Yeah, the first few jobs that you do, whether it be freelance or otherwise, are always the hardest to get. Don't worry, just keep at it. Keep dabbling around. Keep building up your profile, working on your sites. Watch my other videos on things. Mind Game says, nice French. Hey, merci beaucoup. La moitié de ma famille est française. Le problème I have now, le problème que j'ai, je parle pas français souvent, ça veut dire que j'oublie des mots toujours. My last question tonight, is it a good idea to make websites for local businesses or persons and claim that the work and claim that work as work experience. Can I get traction freelancing as well that way? 100%. That's how you do it, man. I have people in my mentoring program, UncleSteph.com. I have people in my mentoring program. Actually, that's the first step. Go out there, just build some small websites for some local business for free or a local nonprofit. Whether you get paid or not is not important. The point is you're interacting with a third party. You're extracting requirements, delivering on requirements, etc. You should run it. I tell people to run it like a real project. In my freelance course, which is in the boot camp, or you can get the freelance course standalone, I outline how to do that. Yeah. So yeah, that's what you do, man. Thanks so much for putting me at ease with your videos covering AI. I'm still trying to make it in the industry. Don't worry about it. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't worry about it. I'm seeing AI implemented within the web space. I did a video recently on WixStudio. You can go watch it. And yeah, it doesn't take away from the, you see they use AI extensively within that platform, but it doesn't take away from jobs. It just enhances the jobs. So it has like image creation, so you can create placeholder images for your clients. It has copy creation, create your headlines, create your body text based on the subject matter. Have AI tools. They even have layout tools that work with AI. So use their WYSIWYG to create your basic layout, and then you can point the AI at it, and the AI will touch it up for you, which is kind of cool. So fantastic. To master the fundamentals themselves, not the language really. Exactly, exactly. The fundamentals are language neutral. The fundamentals apply to all the modern languages. An object is an object in programming. A function is a function. A method is a method. Recursion is recursion. Looping is looping. Good design practices is good design practices. How you refactor JavaScript code is the same way you refactor Python code, etc. Make sense? So yeah, all right. Wow, an hour in. All right. Hi, Steph. Meet up in Florida. I'm in North Miami Beach. All right, Boris. All right, so yeah, in the comments below, keep joining the lives, comment on the streams. I'll put out a video dedicated to the meetup. Yeah, I'm in Delray, so you're pretty close. And I think we got some people in Lauderdale as well. Got somebody in Miami. So I think we'll have a meetup sometime in January probably. And so yeah, keep in touch. I like to try to get a group together, 5 or 10 people if possible, you know, and then that would be fun. All right. Last question, I'm gonna head out. I built my first site about 20 years ago with HTML and CSS. Back then, we used tables and images to do rounded corners and shadows. Of course, back then, web design 20 years ago was Photoshop, and image editing was hugely important. Not anymore. Like Photoshop is not even a consideration for web development. You could use it a little bit, but it's like, it used to be like, you could argue it was like 30%, 25% of the process was Photoshop based, maybe more, depending. At one point, Photoshop was like 50% of the job. But not anymore. Now you just edit an image quickly or something. But I would just do it online. So things have changed. But there you go. All right, guys. Small group tonight. Thanks for joining. If you do like the live streams, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, post them under the video. Check out my Discord channel. Link below. It's free. There's over 3,000 members. And yeah, that's pretty cool. What's the last question? I'll do these last 2 questions. I like them. What do you think about Harvard's CS50 free course that teaches foundations of computer science? I looked at it briefly. All I remember looking at it is that it's very academic. So it's fine. It's fine. If you want to start with that, go for it. Of course, I'm biased. I recommend my stuff. It's much more oriented towards the practical. But yeah, that's a good one. If a 15-year-old wanted to learn programming in 2003, how would they go about learning it? In 2003? You mean 2023? Well, I would start with Python. There you go. Thanks for information answer. No problem. Thanks for streaming. what's next. All right, guys, thanks for joining Code Long and Profit. If you like the stream, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share. Comment under the video as well. Let me play my soundtrack here. No, it's not my soundtrack. Here's my soundtrack. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.